All right, everybody, welcome in. It's time for some chess. So we're just getting an e4, e5 position. Let's see where it goes from here. Just a standard opening. And we're going into an Italian game. I've been seeing a lot of Italian games lately, and my Italian game technique has fallen way down. I have not been playing as good as I normally do against the Italian for some reason. It's really just been a pain in my neck. And I can't say why. I'm just missing things. This is a preemptive move by my opponent to stop something, stop me from playing crazy moves, but I am content. I'm okay. This knight actually could come up this way, put some more pressure on this pawn, which means we're going to go ahead and defend that pawn first. I've got a couple of ways to defend it, either the rook or the pawn. Let's just go ahead and make a pawn move. This also gives our knight a chance to rotate around if it needs to. Now we do have to watch, make sure our bishop doesn't get trapped, but I should be okay. If he just rotates back, do I care? Let's start with just developing, and then we'll do this. If he just rotates back, do I care? That's interesting that my opponent is making this knight move before they castle. So this is a line that my opponent obviously knows that I don't know. Now I have to watch out for the fork, so we're going to bring our piece back. Let's just add some more defense. And I'm just going to see if I can, I'm going to see if I can bust open the position a little bit. I'm just not sure, honestly, I'm just not sure. Like I said, my Italian game lately has not been very strong, and it's because the Italian game is very positional. You build up your position and you make moves that have an impact down the road. You're basically trying to put all your pieces on really important squares. For instance, my opponent is really heavily attacking this area here. But I do have to watch out for even things like a Greek gift at this point in time, because then the queen can't get involved just yet, thank goodness. I'm wondering if I should add more defense to this particular square. Whoops, my mouse is being weird. Okay, let's try that. Just adding more defense to the F5 square so that my opponent is trying to control it. The possibility of these kind of Greek gift sacrifices. Now, the one bishop is locked up, which I feel really good about, but the dark square bishop is wide open. What just happened? What happened there? Don't know. Something jumped on my clock there for a second. I don't know what happened. I'll have to watch back later and see what actually happened. Now I did trade away this B pawn for my opponent's A pawn. I'd like to keep pushing my A pawn. So my opponent wants to pop open that. I don't really want to pop open the rook. But if my opponent wants to trade, I'll take back this way and keep these 2 pawns on the side of the board. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. But we're gonna make a go of it. If my opponent takes, I'm happy to take back. Because now I can attack this pawn. A little bit more. Put some pressure on it, I should say. But like I said, lately my Italian game has been really lacking. I don't remember the specific lines I'm supposed to play. I don't remember a lot of the details behind it. But yeah, we're seeing a real attack happening here, and I just honestly I couldn't tell you exactly what my goal is. And even if I were to start pushing pawns in front of my king to try to drive these guys away, I'm just creating more weaknesses. I just don't know. I just don't know. Maybe I can get my queen around. Oh, no, I didn't. I was like, I just dropped the piece. No, I didn't. Technically, I've got it defended, but I do need to keep an eye on it. So this pawn is not going anywhere because I do not want to allow this queen to infiltrate. So we have the time. Let's take a second and let's look things through. I'm guessing we're probably going to see a pawn storm soon. So what happens if I just push h5? And then if the pawn storm starts, does that open up things outside? Am I crazy for that? I wouldn't mind trading queens at this point, to be honest with you. But to do that means sliding over this way. If I could just pop up here. So those are my two move options, queen over or pawn up. I'm just really scanning my opponent's position to see, because I mean there are some threats here obviously, but I'm not too worried right now because this pawn is doing a good job of just clogging things up. Speaking of this pawn, that pawn is hanging. So I think we have to go with this move order to defend the pawn so that my opponent can't take it and open up that diagonal. Now I think this works. And we're just stopping my opponent from playing g4. That's all we're trying to do, basically. Just stop them from playing g4. All right. And now we're attacking this pawn. But I want to remember to try to leave this pawn in place, so that way we're blocking off that light square bishop and limiting its usefulness. We are not taking this pawn, remember. But we could take this pawn. I think we've held pretty good now. All right, so my next goal, I was actually considering putting the queen here to add more pressure, but now that the rook's there, it's not gonna work. So my opponent's got 2 defenders, I have 2 attackers. I would need a 3rd attacker over there, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. I could put this pawn on a dark square. I think I'm gonna do that, because it still stops. I mean, it still stops g4. I see, my opponent is tabbing out of the game. That's what happened last time I bet. My opponent is leaving the game for whatever reason. Either they're having internet issues, they're alt-tabbing to another screen. It doesn't show where they're from, so I don't know how close our servers are to see if we've got ping issues. But we'll see where this goes. I'm gonna go ahead and pause the game and come back and see if my opponent comes back, all right? We'll be back in a minute. Okay, so my opponent did make it back, has made a rook move. I'm also gonna make a small rook move. The idea here was that my opponent could have brought this down with check. My rook was under attack, and that could have caused issues. There's still 2 defenders in this pawn, so it doesn't help me with that pawn. I see, clever move by my opponent here. Very clever there. I wish I could danger levels my opponent. So let's see, grab. I was wondering if I could kick one of these rooks out. Kick that rook out somehow. Captures, captures, but I gotta be careful. There may be a random check that my opponent can throw in. I'm looking for random checkmate patterns to make sure I'm not missing anything important. For instance, I have a knight, a queen, and a rook all within proximity of my opponent's king. They're not aligning up for checkmate yet. I'm secretly hoping my opponent takes so that way I can take. If I take, he takes, I slide in, he takes, still doesn't work. I gotta make fast moves here. I just gotta be careful because this game could get really ugly really quickly. I do have access to this. If I can get my opponent's rook out of the way, let's say he does come from a check and then I slide, I can throw in this. I might be able to get that exchange back. Okay. Simple enough. Just trying to get my queen up this way. No, I didn't. I was like, I dropped the knight. No, I didn't because it's defended. I'm low on time, which sucks. I hate being low on time. I'm just not good at moving this fast. I need to get better in the earlier game and not spend so much time on these late games. I'm allowing my opponent to infiltrate. Ah, checkmate. I missed it. Yep, GG to my opponent. Just didn't have enough time to think things through. The only legal move here is this. Yeah. Yeah, I missed it. Yeah, gosh, white was up so much at this point. I'm surprised it was only an exchange, but man, yeah, right. Wow. Wow, white was up so much. Yeah, right here I was in a good position. I had gotten it back, and then yeah, alignment issue, and then things just fell apart. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because I'd really battled it back to a good position, I felt. But yeah, let's go back through this. This was an Italian game, pretty standard Italian game. I forget if this is okay. So this is the classical. This is the Gioco Pianissimo. Because you're slow rolling this, whereas the classical is this with the thought of immediately pushing. I develop my knight. Yeah, this is a reversed move order, but it got back to the Gioco Pianissimo. And again, slow rolling the d4 pawn. This is a weakening, but I just don't like to deal with that pin, and so I've been playing it a lot more lately. And it may be one of the reasons why I'm struggling in the Italian game, is because I play this move that's really unnecessary to stop this pin. My opponent played well. I mean, really had this line really the way they wanted it. The engine really doesn't like that, but I just went right back. I didn't feel like I lost anything, except for, I mean, this bishop became a non-issue right up until the fork. I'm surprised the game. I'm surprised that the engine really doesn't like that move either. I mean, I did make several back and forth moves that I didn't need to. Like I said, I felt like this was a decent position. I mean, all said and done, white has a slight advantage. You know, give them that. White does have an advantage. But I said that the whole time that, you know, white was on the attack. Yeah, the engine wants me to get my bishop up here and leave these pawns alone. But I felt like having them on light squares was a little bit better, but maybe not, because my opponent does have a light square bishop, so maybe leaving him on dark squares was a better move. Yeah, go figure. But yeah, we even got ourselves back into a decent position, trading off. Yeah, I would never have considered that. Yeah, the engine wants me to get my rook over and trade off a pair of rooks, which I probably should have. Wow, the engine has said basically the game has moved completely to the queen side. That's what this is saying, is it wants both of my rooks on the queen side ready to infiltrate. The engine is crazy sometimes. Yeah, this has all felt really good. It felt really good. I mean, look at this. The engine even says that I made the correct move by pushing that H-pawn. I just had let my time slip way too far. And then, yeah, unfortunately, just allowed this alignment issue. So frustrating. So frustrating. Ha! Top engine move is to just take the pawn with attack on the queen. I mean, I did find the refutation at least. Even gotten myself back into a decent position, and then I couldn't figure out where to go from here. I just couldn't figure out what the next plan was. Yeah, I did not at all consider that my opponent getting here. This was just a blind spot. I just didn't recognize that, you know, I had to keep an eye on this weakness, that this basically creates back rank issue. And that's what my opponent was going to take advantage of, this back rank issue. And giving up that, I should have kept my queen around here. Yeah. And I shouldn't have moved my queen off this. And my opponent played it very well. What did I do? Oh, what did I do? Ha! Just have blinders on, man. I just play with blinders on. I mean, you could I play with blinders on. What an absolute boneheaded move to not pick that up. What's the threat now? There's no threat. Okay, yeah, the threat's here, but heck, I could even just slide the queen back if I wanted to play defense. I could slide the rook all the way back and play defense. Ah, so frustrating. I can't believe I missed that. I was just trying to play fast, trying to play fast, and I saw that I wanted to trade off this rook, but it doesn't matter. I went from, my opponent went from up. My opponent made a boneheaded mistake too, don't get me wrong. This was an opponent's huge blunder, and I just missed it. And now checkmate is basically inevitable. Yeah, I basically have to defend this square or the back rank. Nah, not defending. I'd have to, a couple more moves. I have to get the king over and then offer a queen trade. And even then, it's not good. I cannot believe I missed that. Oh well. Well, that's how she goes sometimes, guys. That's all she wrote. And then, yeah, game over. So, GG to my opponent. I missed it. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, my Italian game has just not been good to me lately. I've been having a lot more success from the black pieces, and I'll try to get another game in today later. I've got some work that I gotta do, but I'll try to get a game in later today, and we'll see if we can maybe get the black pieces or but the black pieces with the King's Indian. I've been having a lot more success with the King's Indian from the black pieces. Not so much the e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. I haven't had a ton of success on those kind of positions lately, but that's how it goes. Anyway, we'll see if we can get another game, maybe get a King's Indian, maybe get another one of our ready type openings. I've been playing with a slight move order variation that feels a little bit more comfortable to me, and it seems to be working out. So we'll try another game and see if we can get one of those positions. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I appreciate y'all very much. Bye-bye.